today's audio newsletter, we're going to talk about whether you can attract a girl by ignoring her. Turns out you can. And it's something that actually works quite effectively, especially for guys who have chased a girl out of their lives or talked themselves out of a relationship. I used to be one of those guys. I used to have the bad habit of texting too much, calling too much, and talking way too much to the point that it actually destroyed attraction. So in this audio newsletter, I'm going to share some of the reasons why ignoring a girl makes her chase you or attracted to you. And I'm also going to explain instances when ignoring a girl is permissible, because under normal circumstances, I wouldn't recommend this at all. Communication is a focal point or a essential characteristic within any healthy relationship. So this only applies to very specific situations or circumstances, and we'll discuss that later. So for now, let's talk about why ignoring a girl makes her chase you. I know this is counterintuitive. A lot of guys who contact me are so afraid of keeping their distance or backing off out of fear of losing a girl. But what they don't realize is that by constantly chasing her, texting her, calling her, you do more damage than good. This is especially during the courtship phase of any romance. So the reasons why ignoring a girl makes her chase you is because rejection often leads to a state of obsession. Being ignored hurts the ego. It makes a person experience feelings of loss and fear that you will never come back. It makes a person miss you, and damage done during the relationship or courtship disappears from the mind during this time away, because most of us tend to look back on the past with rose-tinted glasses. So for these reasons, ignoring a girl can actually have a positive effect on attraction as well as chemistry. Okay, so let's talk about some of the instances when it's okay to ignore a girl to attract her. Number one, when she fights unreasonably. Listen, fighting is an unavoidable part of any relationship, but it can become very toxic very quickly if it's something that occurs over and over again and without boundaries or limitations. A woman who is fighting with you unreasonably in the sense that she swears at you, she curses you. I know I'm saying all of the same thing in one, but you get the message. If she's very rude, insulting, and aggressive, and you are trying to have a respectful and mature conversation with her, in that case, ignoring her will have much more of a positive effect, not just on her attraction, but on the whole situation, than continuing to fight with her. In this sort of case, silence is golden. So until she's prepared to have a mature and respectful conversation with you, it's best that you walk away, ignore her, and wait for her to calm down. The next one, and I think which is the most important in this entire audio newsletter, is when she doesn't seem interested. Look, you can't force interest, and you can't make someone chase you if there isn't a base level of attraction. But if the reason why she has lost interest is because you overchased her, overpursued her, and came off as too needy, weak, or desperate, then actually ignoring her or choosing to walk away will have a positive effect on interest. You see, if you do too much of something, it can have a negative effect. And too much of compliments, too much of information, too much of questions, too much of calls, text, pictures, so on and so forth can have a negative effect on attraction during the early stages of courtship. It removes mystery from the entire equation, which in essence removes anticipation and excitement. When there's no anticipation and excitement, there's nothing much that triggers exciting or strong feelings within a woman that are positive during the early stages of courtship. So in this case, if she's lost interest, walk away. Stop texting her so much, stop calling her, just eliminate contact for a while until she reaches out and she starts showing some sort of concern or interest for why you aren't making an effort anymore. At that point, resume communicating with her, because you've piqued her interest a bit and you've undone some of that damage from over pursuing her or over chasing her. The other reasons why you should ignore her to attract her is when she's blatantly ignoring boundaries within a relationship and just being overtly disrespectful. Now, this is the kind of thing you need to communicate about first. You need to hash it out with her. But if she refuses to see reason and constantly oversteps and hurts you, then the next resort is to ignore her until she gets the message, because if words are not working, then maybe silence would. So look, now that we've discussed all of the circumstances that permit ignoring a woman, I just want to add that you need to be very cautious about this, because if you ignore the wrong type of woman, it can have a very negative effect on your relationship and yourself. Because if a person is giving you respect, love, attention, and affection, and you respond with silence, that's going to chase them away. Don't use this tactic on women who are good for you. This is the kind of tactic I would only use in situations when a relationship is failing due to over pursuing, over chasing, or some toxic behavior that has not been fixed through communication or is just being blatantly ignored by her. But when you're dealing with women who are respectful, who are making an effort, who are good communicators, then you shouldn't be ignoring her. Communication will fix whatever problems you have, and attraction won't be dependent on how much you text her. So that's an important thing to consider when deciding whether or not to ignore a girl. But if she's showing no interest, if you have lost her attraction and interest because you chased her too much, over pursued her, talked too much, texted, called, and did all of that weird stuff that people do online, ignoring her may just be the solution to your problems rather than texting her more or calling her more. At the end of the day, as Albert Einstein once said, insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result. If chasing her and over pursuing her has not got you the kind of results you want, you need to try something different. With that being said, I hope you enjoyed this podcast on how to ignore her to attract her. Again, I know that this is sort of a controversial topic and I chose a very controversial headline, but I just want to emphasize that I do not advocate ignoring a woman who is respectful, loving, attentive, caring, and a great person. Communication is the best tool for dealing with someone who's awesome and great. This is specifically for women who are toxic, abusive, rude, vulgar, as well as women who have completely lost interest in you because of over pursuit and over chasing them. If I were to phrase it differently, this wouldn't be ignoring a woman, it would be exercising silence until communication is essential or permitted. Be that as it may, go ahead and let me know what your thoughts are in the comment section below.